subhanahu wa ta'ala, they make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, رَبَّنَا فِقْعِنَا sabra, that oh Allah grant us patience with وَتَوَفَّنَا muslimin. So now, Fir'aun, Mufassirun, some mu'addikhun, some ulama of history, they say that either he did follow through with his threats, as in he would kill them, that he would chop off their hands and legs from opposite sides. Others say that did not happen, and the courtiers, either way, Musa ﷺ was left. And when Fir'aun saw the mu'ajiza of Musa ﷺ, he himself was also shaken. So the courtiers, they said, and the nobles in his assembly, they turned to Fir'aun and say that, are you just going to leave Musa and his people like this? That you're not going to do anything to them? So sometimes, even if the leader himself, he doesn't say something, then the assembly around him, because they are there to egg him on, to push him along. So they say that, why don't you do something to Musa, do something to Harun, do something to his people, the tribe. So أَتَذَرُ مُوسَى وَقَوْمَهُ لِيُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Now it's propaganda that they also do. So are you going to leave them that they cause corruption on the earth? And if you say something enough times, and you say something and you make someone the savage, then you can sell the idea, right? So لِيُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ, that they are the ones that are causing corruption. As you see in this world today also, the propaganda, it's the same thing. That you have to say that these people are savage, oh, they're ruthless, they're animals, they're not humans. It's the same thing over here, the nobles' assembly of Fir'aun. The لِيُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Now, what fasad did Musa ﷺ do on the earth? What corruption did he do? The Banu Israel, they were, the irony, the Banu Israel, they were at the time captives. Right? They were captive at the time. They were kept as slaves under Fir'aun. So لِيُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Obviously, what fasad are such slaves going to do? وَيَذَرَكَ وَآلِهَتَكَ, or fasad of aqidah. They're saying that no, they don't believe in you. This is fasad. They don't believe in your lordship. What we believe in, they don't believe in that. They believe in one deity. وَيَذَرَكَ وَآلِهَتَكَ, and he leaves you and your gods. قَالَ, he says that don't worry. سَنُقَتِّلُ أَبْنَاهُمْ, just as we were doing, as we were killing every child who would be born, every male child that would be born, because the soothsayers, the nujumis, they had told Fir'aun that there will be someone who will be born from the Banu Israel who will take your kingship. They will take this land from you, he will take this land away from you. So وَيَذَرَكَ قَالَ سَنُقَتِّلُ أَبْنَاهُمْ, we'll continue with what we are doing. وَنَسْتَحْيِي نِسَاءَهُمْ, we will leave their women to be. To be, yani, not to kill them, not to be in freedom, to keep them enslaved. وَإِنَّا فَوْقَهُمْ قَاهِرُونَ, and we will remain dominated over them. Musa ﷺ, he turns to his people and he says that obviously this is a very delicate situation, that you are terrified, there is a tyrant king over here, there's a tyrant ruler over here. So he tells his people, قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ اسْتَعِينُوا بِاللَّهِ, seek assistance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are a madhroom, an oppressed people. You don't have much that you can do right now at this point. There isn't except اسْتَعِينُوا بِاللَّهِ, that you seek assistance Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَاصْبِرُوا, and have patience, be steadfast upon it. The rule is that what a person has available to him, that's what he uses. If there are no worldly apparent means, then it's only that. But when the person has those means, then he uses that as well. So استعينوا بالله واصبروا, and then he tells him إن الأرض لله, the earth belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, land belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يورثها من يشاء من عباده, whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, he gives it to him. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees how these people deal with it. That when you are oppressed, how are you dealing with it? When you are on top and you have rule, then how do you deal with people? وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, at the end, the final result, the good result at the end, لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, are for those who have taqwa. So two things. One, the al-aqibah, yes, there may be back and forth, that might happen, that might occur. And as the Quran Kareem itself says, وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامِ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ, the days, sometimes one person wins, sometimes one person loses. One battle goes this way, another battle goes that way. That's this world. There is no such thing from Quran and Sunnah, or the Sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that those that have iman, that they will, in every battle, in every struggle, that they will always be victorious. Otherwise, it's not a test anymore. The test is that at the time of good and ease, you show shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fulfill those rights of those that are subordinate to you. That can be a test as well. That there are people who are subordinate to you, yet you don't treat them correctly. That in itself has its own, what we call wabal from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take a person task from him. When a person himself is subordinate, then how is he supposed to be? How much patience does he have? Does he turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Does he lose his iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So wal-aqibah, the end. Whether it be for you as an individual in this world, you may not see that aqibah. How many a Nabi did work in this world and they didn't see the fruits of that? As it comes in the hadith that some anbiya will come yawm al-qiyamah and there will be maybe one or two individuals behind them. Some anbiya will come with no one with them. So the Nabi a failure? Na'udhu billah? No. He did what he had to do. He preached and he called and he did da'wah and he asked and he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it was not in their taqdeer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not write hidayah for them. So al-aqibah lil-muttaqeen though. That's the key point here. Sabr is one thing. Sabr and patience is one thing. He told his people, Ista'inu billah, seek assistance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Apparent means itself won't do anything. Wasbiru, have patience. But the end, what do we need? Taqwa. So now, it's a question to us, the question we should put to ourselves, each believer individually, as communities, that struggles that we hear of Muslims, whether it be here, whether it be in different places in the world, is this a new thing that you hear? How long has it gone on and on and on and on? It's nothing new, right? It's not the first time, not the second time, not the 10th, not even the 100th time. The question is that from last time to today, how much taqwa did we bring into our lives, individually and as communities? And this is something we remind again and again and again. So when something occurs, then there's this big hype about something, and it should happen. Obviously, we're concerned about what happened, and we're very concerned about it and alarmed, as we should be. But the passing of a few days, and after that we go back to our same ways, or even during those times we don't even change, which is even worse, right? And just as there are certain things. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there isn't anything you're supposed to do and not say what is wrong as wrong and what is oppressive as oppressive. That's in its place. That's part of what you have to do. But other aspects of taqwa, that also has to occur. So the Quran al-Kareem is very clear in this regard. That وَمَنْ يَتَّقِي وَيَصْبِرْ. Again and again the Quran al-Kareem. مَنْ يَتَّقِي وَيَصْبِرْ. Taqwa and sabr. Taqwa and sabr. So if a doctor prescribes a prescription for you and tells you this is the medicine, you take this one medicine, and then with this you take this other medicine. And you say, I'm going to take one medicine. It may end up being worse for you than not taking anything at all. It's possible that by not taking a full dose, or exactly what you're supposed to be doing, if you just take half of the medicine, or half the prescription, that's not going to get the work done. If you say, no, I'm only going to take one out of the two things, one out of 3 pills I'll only take. And then you come and say, hey, it didn't work. Well, you didn't follow the prescription. Very simple as that. So we as an ummah, as a community, as individuals, as Muslimin, mu'mineen, are we adopting taqwa in our lives or not? At individual level, at a communal level. Has there been any notable change from the last time there were disasters, last Ramadan or the Ramadan before that, every time these things happen? And as we said in the Jumu'ah khutbah as well, that it's not just one part in one place, but this is an ummah as a whole. So the ummah as a whole, have we increased in taqwa or not? Or do we carry on with the same lack of interest towards deen, lack of fulfilling the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and still engaging in the same wrongs and haram things? So this is a question, a very straightforward question we should put to ourselves. That has this happened or has it not happened? If you think about it, if you look into it, the answer is very clear. وَالْعَاقِبَةُ الْمُتَّقِينَ قَالُوا أُوذِينَا مِنْ قَبْلِ. Now how did these people respond? They did not show sabr. They did not show trust in isti'an, seek assistance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They said, أُوذِينَا مِنْ قَبْلِ. They just complained. قَالُوا أُوذِينَا مِنْ قَبْلِ. They said, we were going through difficulties before you came, Musa. مِنْ قَبْلِ أَن تَأْتِيَنَا. That Fir'aun used to do this to us. And even after you come to us, now see, although you showed, the Sahara, and you came out ghalib and victorious in front of them, and they accepted Islam. The Sahara, they accepted Iman in Islam. But these people, how did they respond? And even after coming, we're still going through the same difficulties, complaining. The Musa alayhi Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pillar of strength, of forbearance, patience, he says, عَسَىٰ رَبُّكُمْ أَن يُهْلِكَ عَدُوَّكُمْ. It's very close, it's very possible that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy your enemy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and after that, يَسْتَخْلِفَكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, see this ayah, how pertinent it is today. يَسْتَخْلِفَكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. That Allah, Musa alayhi salam is telling the Banu Israel that He will give you a place and khilafah upon the earth, that He will make you successors. فَيَنْظُرْ كَيْفَ تَعْمَلُونَ. Then He will see how you are acting when you have been given rule. Are you acting in the same tyrannical manner that you went through? The same oppression you went through, you just reciprocate that on others? Or have you learned your lesson that this is what it means to be madloom and oppressed, and that you will stay away from it? These ayat are clear as daylight. Someone reads the Quran Kareem, understands the Quran, thinks about the Quran, what happens throughout the world, what's happening today, what happened before, all of this is very open. It's exact word to word what the Quran Kareem tells us, what's happening. And the way out is also in the Quran. What will happen, what is happening, and the way out, all of that is in the Quran Kareem. But for who? The one that wants it. Very simple. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us with a very simple choice. Those that want it, as individuals, as communities, they will do it. And those that turn a blind eye to this, and they continue with the rat race of this world, say that we came over here for one purpose and one purpose only, that we just came here to make money, make sure we just put our head down. The whole world can turn upside down as long as the one petty objective that I came for, as long as that's fulfilled, I'm okay with this. That's a mirage. It's a false dream that you're living in. That's not how this world works. There's more to these realities, which the Quran Kareem makes it very clear to us. So as a community, we should wake up from the slumber, from this mirage that we were looking at, from these, daydreaming that it's okay as long as I just do these few things, everyone will be happy, they'll like me, they'll love me, and then I can just go on making more money in this world, and then as long as my kids go through college and have a degree, then everything will be okay. It doesn't work like that. It's a very foolish kind of dream that we are living in this world. So, yes, whatever reason and whatever happened, and why people came and what they thought and expected, and all of that is in its place. But you should perhaps, as a community, we should rethink which direction we're headed towards as individuals, as families, as communities, inshallah. May dua that Allah Ta'ala gives us understanding the Quran Kareem.